Hello, hello. Welcome into Richy Unfiltered. This is the first official episode of Richy Unfiltered, a podcast that is about real growth, real conversations with real laughs. And let me go ahead and introduce myself. If you don't know me already, I am Richy. I am a YouTuber who is big into self development, self improvement, and just becoming the best version of yourself, right? My story on how I started YouTube and how I became where I'm at now is all from a heartbreak. It's all from an experience I had in high school where I got my heart broken. And when you lose something, you gain something. And I remember at that time, my relationship at the time, that girl was a lot to me. She meant the whole world to me. And I was really just in love. And one day she just lost a spark, which caused my whole world to flip upside down, and it just made everything go spiral. I wasn't able to be the same way because she was everything I wanted, she was everything I had, and she was my best friend. And it was like everything that I had was lost, was gone away. And it was like I was restarting from from day one. But I'm so grateful and so happy that that happened, because all of that happened was that for me to find myself, for me to become the person I want to become, the person I want to be, the things I want to achieve. Because that heartbreak made me feel so alone. I had no one to talk to. I had no one to come to about how I felt. And it was my first time being alone, being with my feelings, being with myself, being with my thoughts. And we all know how that could go. When you're alone with yourself, it could either go really bad, really downward, or you could look at things on the bright side and live your life onward with new experiences, with new relationships. And it all matters on how your perspective is, right? And when it's in that time period, when you're in the moment, obviously things feel like things are gonna get better. Things have no reason, like, why did this happen? Why did this happen? But in hindsight, all of that was supposed to happen, because I was able to find myself, find the person that I want to become. What do I want to change about myself? What I didn't like in the mirror, what I didn't like feeling. And it's like my whole life completely shifted. I started living my life after this heartbreak. I found who I am. I found what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, which is what I want to inspire other people to do. I want people to look at their situations the same way I went through mine and realize this is all happening for a reason. This is all meant for growth. And what I'm losing is what I'm going to gain. And that's the mindset and perspective that I want to pursue and influence on other people. And that way we're not living such a negative life, such a spectating life where you're just watching your life fly by. You're not controlling it. So this is what this podcast is for. This is what I want to show to other people, that life is good. Life is amazing. But that all depends on how you view your life and view yourself. Right? So that is my story. That's how I found myself, from a heartbreak. I was able to find myself. All that alone time, I was able to find myself, find the reasons of who I am and what I wanted to be. And I started living life for me, loving life, loving myself, gaining confidence in the things I wanted to do. YouTube was always a thing I always wanted to do since when I was a little kid. I would make gaming videos when I was younger. I would make videos me playing with my figures, my WWE figures, and it was just something I always loved in doing. I would do reaction videos. It was just that kid thing that I always wanted to do. I can't lie. I know that was a bunch of things people's dreams as a kid, because that's when YouTube started popping off. But YouTube never left for me. It was always something that interested me, and that passion never left. And it was something I always wanted to do in the background. I did it through middle school as well. I did some gaming videos, but I was never consistent with it. I always feared people's perspectives on me. I feared people's thoughts of me. What are they were going to think of me if I started recording YouTube? If they found my YouTube, what are they going to think of me? Because in YouTube, when I was recording, I was fully myself. And when I was at school, when I was out in public, at home, I had to filter myself. You know what I mean? I had to play pretend in a way, which is crazy because in a podcast that I listened from Robert Greene, he even said it himself that we're all actors. You know what I mean? We all change how we behave when we're around certain people, when we're at our jobs, when we're doing certain things, right? We all change our behaviors, change the way we act, and we filter ourselves. Which is why Richy is called Unfiltered. This is why this podcast is called that, because I want you guys to see me at 100%. You know what I mean? I want us to have real conversations about real life, real current events, not just bullshit things. You know what I mean? And I want us to be, all of us, our authentic selves. You know what I mean? As much as, yeah, we do play pretend and act around certain people, I want to be my authentic self at all times. You know what I mean? With everybody. But, I'm still a work in progress. I still find myself caring about what other people think. You know what I mean? And that's something that it's a childhood feeling that I've never really got to able to heal that wound from. But getting back into what I was saying, YouTube was always a thing that I was interested in. And after I was able to find myself and after I was, oh no, after, I'm sorry, after that whole heartbreak and after all that alone time, I was able to just upload on YouTube. I had nobody else there to be there for me. So let me just be vulnerable on camera like I was on YouTube, and let me make advice or just be vulnerable and express how I feel on camera. And my first ever video has like 290 views, 300 views, and it's called Thugging That Out. And thugging that shit out. And it's crazy. When I look back on that video, it's just me expressing how I feel and being vulnerable to you guys, being online where people could see how I feel. You know what I mean? They could do all of that, but I didn't care. I just wanted to get how I felt off my chest. And I want to be inspiration for people that you can cry on camera. You could cry to anyone. It's okay to cry. It's okay to not be okay. But it's not okay to stay that way. It's not okay to stay in that sadness, to stay in that depression. You can change that. You know what I mean? You can live your life for the better, which is what happened to me. You know what I mean? Two people could be living two different lives. One person can take that heartbreak as something horrible that caused their downfall of their life. That could be, oh, ever since that happened, life has never been the same. Or someone else can take that situation and be like, ever since that situation happened, my life has gone better. I treated myself better. I started looking out for myself, being there for myself, supporting myself. And it's so crazy. Once you start supporting and loving yourself and being there for yourself, your life really does change on the daily. You're not always at a war with your zone. You're not a war with yourself. You're not there's no war zone in your mind. There's just positive and encouraging thoughts. You know what I mean? And yes, positive thoughts and encouraging thoughts are not always going to take you far. It's the action that takes you far. But your thoughts is the start. If you want to make that change in your life, it starts with changing how you think and changing your perspective. Now that you guys got a message of, or the theme of what this podcast is, my story and who I am, I want to let you guys know that this podcast is for everyone. It doesn't matter how old you are, your age, doesn't matter your skin color, doesn't matter your sex, it doesn't matter any of that. I want everyone to live their life for the better and for themselves. I want everyone to realize, man, you are the main character. You are living your life. Do not let external factors, things get in the way of your life, in the things that you want to achieve. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what it is. Go accomplish that dream. Go try achieving that dream at least. There's so many people that pass away every day that didn't get to experience their dream, their passion. They didn't even get to try. And unfortunately, that's the world we live in. So go ahead, make that move. Go ahead and chase the thing you want to do. If you're not sure what your passion is, always look back to childhood. For me, I think that's the answer. What is that childhood thing you've always wanted to do? What's that career you would want to do for free? You know what I mean? Like, for me, I'm not a money person. I don't care how much money I make. I just want to help people. I know what my purpose is. I just want to help people and influence people and make the change in their lives. I want this world to be such a positive place. We all know how this world is going on right now. We all know how negative it is with everything going on. And I can admit it's hard to be positive in this world. It's hard to look things are going to be better. But that's the only way. We can't keep thinking our lives are going to get worse or going to get worse. We have to just live on the bright side. What is living on the negative side going to do for us, you know? Nothing. So this podcast is for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are. I just want you to work on yourself, be the best version of yourself. And working on yourself is not a straightforward path. It is not a linear direction. It's not a linear path. You're going to have detours. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have steps backwards. But remember, steps backwards can lead us 2 steps forward, 3 steps forward, a jog. They could lead motivation. And it's always a work in progress. You know what I mean? It's always a daily thing that we always have to work on ourselves. And we're not going to see the progress like that. It's not a progress where you look on the scale and you see you lost weight or you see you got bigger weight. No. It's a scale that you can't measure. It has no measurement. But once you start living your life and noticing things of how you lived in the past, you start to realize, hey man, I was way better who I am now than I was a few months ago. You know what I mean? My habits have changed. I am thinking better. I am treating myself better. I am supporting myself better. I'm talking to myself way more nicer. And that's when you notice the change, the growth within yourself. What to expect on this podcast is, like I said earlier, real talks about current events in this world, about our lives, perspectives, things going on, either or. Laughs. You know what I mean? I want us to also have a conversation with, like as you as the listener, I want you to conversate with me. You know, I want to conversate with you. You know what I mean? I want to ask you guys, how's your day going? I hope you guys are living all right. I hope you guys woke up on the right side of the bed. I hope you guys woke up thanking God or thanking whoever your God is. Or just, if you're not religious, you know what I mean? I always like to praise God in my videos. Obviously, I'm not someone to push God on you, because I think for God to have a relationship with you, that is on its own. That's not something for me to push upon you. That's not something, anything like that. The way I found God was from my heartbreak, was from the pain and from me being alone. I had nobody to be there for me, so I would pray, talk to God. And God, I have to give credit where it's due. God is what helped me get to where I am. God is the reason I am okay to this day. God is the reason I am alive here today. You know what I mean? And I know not everybody believes that. I know not everybody wants to hear all that. And that's completely fine. That's why I don't like talking about it as much, because I know how it could be triggering for some people. I know that. But my word to you is just be optimistic. You know what I mean? If Be optimistic and be open. You know what I mean? You may be thinking, why does God let these bad things happen? Why does God let this thing happen to me individually? He must have forgot about me. Which is no. God gave us this free will to choose how we want to live our lives. Choose if we want to have a relationship with Him. Which is why God lets life do its own thing. You know what I mean? God will let things happen to test you. Are you going to give Him a chance, or are you going to give yourself a chance, or are you just going to keep living this way? You know what I mean? We all know life is full of character development. Life is full of moments. Life is full of conflict. But it's all about how you handle it. You respond to it. You know what I mean? It's not about how you're reacting to it, but how you respond. You can't just be reacting to things and hoping things get for the better, but are you doing the things, taking action for it to do it better? That's the question you want to ask. But yeah, God is what helped me get to me where I'm at. And I believe God can help you get to where you're at as well. But that's on you. You know what I mean? If you want to choose to have a relationship with God or not. I also want to talk about this right now while we're on the topic, but because I know a lot of people say this, which is like, man, if God is real, why would He let all these bad things happening in the world happen? Which I can get to a certain point, on a logical point, because yeah, if it makes logical sense, yeah, why would God let these bad things happen? But the answer is free will. I mean, God gave us this beautiful choice of free will. You know what I mean? Where we get to choose what we do with our lives. I get to choose if I want to run butt naked outside, I can. You know what I mean? I could do anything I want. That's the love He had for us to commit sin. Yes, I could do bad things, like obviously not murder anybody, but I could do bad things, right? Be sinful, and I know that God will forgive me and still have a relationship with me, right? But with good, there comes evil. You know what I mean? And just as much as good can influence you, evil can influence you. And unfortunately, with free will, people will have negative intentions, negative thoughts of doing bad things. And that's unfortunately the world we live in. You know what I mean? There's going to be good, but with good comes bad. And my advice is that all we can do is just pray to Lord. You know what I mean? The evil doesn't want us to go to God. The evil does not want us to be positive. You know what I mean? They don't want us to be positive, because the good always beats the negative. You know what I mean? Heaven always wins. You know what I mean? God always wins. And when it comes to the world topics and world current events and how the world is looking up messed up right now, all I can do is pray. And pray that the world gets better and do my job and what I could do to make the world a better place. Because unfortunately, guys, not everything is in our control. With everything going on with Gaza, Israel, Russia, Ukraine, and the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, as much as evil it is out there, what can we do? Yes, we should protest. The last thing they'd want us to do is come together and protest, which is what we should do, honestly. But some things are not in our control. That's what I'm trying to say. And all we can do is just pray to Lord Pray to Lord, please. I pray that there's something happening behind the scenes that's working to help this world a better place. And I know everything's gonna be okay. I have so much. Oh, sorry, my mic. Sorry about that. I have so much faith in my Lord that I know everything will be okay in the end. I know how much this world looks messed up right now, but I know what God will come in through at the end. But yes, those are the topics we're gonna go through and discuss in this podcast. And yeah, also as I'm doing my podcast, this first episode, I also want to mention doing the things you said you were always going to do. For example, this podcast is a good example. My first ever podcast idea was in 7th grade, and that was from my former friend called Joaquin. He was the one that gave me the idea. He was the one that told us, it was his idea originally, I'm not going to lie, that we should create a podcast. And I was so down for it. I've even had other ideas, making it with my other friends, of creating a podcast. And it's something that I've been planning to do for a month and a half now, like this podcast, making a video, recording an episode, my first ever episode. And I've still struggled. I still never done it. I still pushed it on. When in reality, it's like, the more you push things off, the more you're never going to do. You're not going to get to it. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, whatever it is that you say you're going to do, that YouTube channel, that read that book, do that exercise, that health, that diet, no matter what it is, do it today. Do it today in your state of mind. Right when you think you want to do it. Because you know if you're not going to do it right then and there, you know you're going to push it off. And I'm speaking that from experience. We all know we felt that, where we say we're going to do one thing and we don't. You know what I mean? But just do it. Just do it. You know what I mean? Don't make your goals so hard where, I have to read this many pages, I have to do this many workouts. Make your goal just to work out, just to hit one exercise, to hit one rep. Read one page. Eat one fruit. The easier you make that goal, the better of a win it is. Because a win is a win. You know what I mean? You want to build yourself off wins. Encourage yourself off wins. You know what I mean? So make that goal so small and just say, tomorrow I'm going to open up my computer and get onto the page. Just do small things like that. Because small things like that will already get you going. You know what I mean? You already did the one rep. Might as well continue the set. Might as well do the whole workout. You already read one page. Might as well read the chapter. You know what I mean? Go as far as you can. You know what I mean? All that matters is that there's progress. You know what I mean? Small progress is better than movements. You know what I mean? Because movements, you'll have a big movement there, won't have a movement to a good minute. Big movement there, won't move for a while. But when you exercise a little bit there, 30 minutes there, 20 minutes there, 10 minutes there, that's still consistency. That's still muscle building up. That's still a seed growing. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I want you guys to go ahead and look at this topic, at this podcast, look at this episode as a reflection of, what do I need to do that I said I've always been putting off, that I haven't done yet? Let me do it now. Do it now. As soon as you have that thought, do it now. Okay, guys. But okay, guys. I think that wraps the first ever episode of Richy Unfiltered. Thank you guys for listening. Today is just a 25-minute episode because it was just introduction. You know what I mean? I hope you guys got to know who I am, my story is, where I come from on Richy, or who I come from on YouTube, which is Richy on YouTube. Go ahead and check it out. I also have my website on there, where it's all about, you could see all my latest videos. You could see the books I recommend, the gear that I use, and most importantly, I have a ebook that you guys could all check out that is called Rebuild. You know what I mean? It's about starting over and building the person who you're meant to be. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what point in your life, you could always rebuild. Always rebuild, rebirth yourself, and start making the changes in life. It's never too late. It's never too late. You know what I mean? So go ahead and check that book out. It is on richyricardo.gumroad.com, or check it up on my website. So I'll see you guys in the next episode. I'll see you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Pieces. I love you guys. Deuces.